Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Ryan. I'm a CPA, and today we're doing another episode of CPA Reacts, where we look through all the ridiculousness that happens on the internet. We see what people are saying about taxes or things in general, and I'll give you my uncensored, hopefully, opinion about it. All right. So, first one we have here. This person says, "How do I report a company for not sending me a 1099 by the federal deadline? I've been asking all month and they still haven't sent it. I don't know where to start." Well, this person's asking for a 1099 probably because they're an independent contractor or a freelancer or some sort. But it is actually your responsibility as the independent contractor, as the freelancer, to track your own income. Don't rely on these companies to send you their 1099s because sometimes they just won't. So if you don't get one, where you can start is to track your own damn income and report your own income on your taxes, because you're legally obligated to do so whether or not you receive a 1099. All right, this one says, "We took out a home equity loan on our paid off house to purchase a used semi-truck for my husband to start his own trucking business. He's a single member LLC and has an EIN. So we have the title to the truck and we own it free and clear." Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. You don't own this thing free and clear. You took out a freaking home equity loan to buy the truck. You don't own it free and clear. You owe debt on your house to buy this truck. Okay, let's carry on. "Can we deduct the cost of the truck on his Schedule C? It was purchased in October 21, and that's also when this business started." All right, so, this is the thing. Vehicles, I've talked about it before. You can't just go and deducting vehicles. You have to depreciate the vehicles over time. Now, certain vehicles qualify for bonus depreciation, which means you might be able to depreciate the full cost of the vehicle in the first year that you purchase the vehicle, as long as you place it in service as well. So in this case, if it's a semi-truck, it probably would qualify for the bonus depreciation that I'm talking about, which means that you can technically deduct the vehicle through your Schedule C business. And with the kind of vehicle that this is, it is likely going to be used 100% for business. It's not like a Mazda or a Subaru where it's kind of ambiguous whether it's 100% for business or not. But in this case, it looks like it will be. And again, you don't own this thing free and clear. You have debt on it. All right, this one is a fun one. "If anyone is bored and wants to give me their opinion on when a gun for security is ordinary and necessary for a small business owner, I'd love to hear your thoughts." So, I talked about this one already, but this specific post, was in the tax preparer related group, tax professional group. And I think I just wanted to point out how shocked I am, like how many tax professionals either say that they advise their clients to just write their guns off on their business, or how many tax professionals themselves purchase guns through their business and deducted it. Like, as a tax professional, that's not legitimate. That's freaking bullshit. A gun is not ordinary and necessary for my profession. Okay, so then people started arguing, well, you got to protect your client's data. The security and privacy of your client's stuff, you need to protect that. Yeah. Well, if you shoot somebody who is stealing your client's data, you will go to jail immediately, because you can't use deadly force to protect property like that, to protect business property. Now, I know, and it really depends on the states and stuff, but in Colorado, you can do that if it's your personal home. Once it's your home here in Colorado, you can then use deadly force for any trespassers. But if it's a place of business and somebody's running out with your laptop and you shoot them in the back of the leg and you shoot them in the back on their back, you're going to go to jail for that. So, not ordinary and necessary. Okay, and then I see other people making arguments like, oh, okay, what if they own a pot shop? Same thing. Just because a store is more likely to be robbed or have people take stuff from them, doesn't mean a gun is an ordinary and necessary expense. Now, I'm making a big deal about this, but the likelihood of any of these tax professionals or any of these business owners actually being audited and busted for this is very low. The odds are just low. Like the IRS probably will not catch these people who are illegitimately writing these expenses off. But we like to do things properly by the law. That shows the integrity of our accounting firm versus these other ones that just tell their just write it off. It's no big deal. So there's very little arguments that I have that would justify putting a handgun as a business expense. Okay, if you're in the gun industry, if you own a gun shop, then the guns that you buy to sell would be inventory, and then when you sell it, it becomes cost of goods sold and whatnot. It's shocking to me how many tax professionals straight up defended and absolutely said, yes, guns are ordinary and necessary. I don't buy it. Okay, this person says, I'm a bit confused about why my tax refund this year is so much less than last year. We made almost the exact same amount of income, but our refund is $3,000 less. Okay, so these kinds of questions, it might be ordinary and normal, but to us it's very frustrating because there's so many components that go into your tax refunds. Like, just because you made the same amount of money doesn't mean jack. If you had less taxes withheld from your income in 2021, that means you're going to have less of a refund. A refund is simply usually means that you paid too much taxes than you actually owed, so you're going to get some of the money back. Now, another thing that could cause a less of a refund is if you have children. Usually you get your child tax credit when you file your taxes, but in 2021, the government was prepaying the child tax credit every month, so you should have received half of your child tax credit unless you opted out by the end of the year. That means the other half will be given to you as a tax credit when you file your taxes. So if that's what happens, then yes, your refund will be less because you already received a bunch of your child tax credit before the year ended. So that's another reason why your refund can be less. Other credits that you took in 2021 that weren't available, or that you took in 2020 that weren't available to you this year, or maybe some credits like home improvement credits, energy credits, those kinds of things that you might have taken in 2020 that you didn't take this year. There's just so much more than just saying, but my income was the same this year. It's such an ignorant question. I hate that shit. We are seeing many S-corps that are treating officer compensation as 1099 income and not issuing W-2 or preparing payroll tax returns. Income is then reported on sole shareholders Schedule C. Is this a thing to do now? No, this is highly not proper, super illegal. Like, you should not be doing this. This is an example of a lazy accountant, a lazy CPA who are recommending S-corp owners to just pay themselves by 1099. That's not proper. So if you don't know, if you own an S-corp, if you own a business as an S-corp and you're actively participating in the S-corp, then you need to pay yourself a reasonable salary, a W-2 salary. That's just a requirement of the IRS. Okay, if you do some shit like this, pay yourself a 1099, that is not proper, and eventually you're going to be in some deep trouble if you keep doing it for a while. So always pisses me off to see lazy accountants or people who are just unknowledgeable giving terrible tax advice or advising their clients to do terrible things. All right, so that's all I got. Thanks for listening to my rants. If you found this video helpful, please do consider subscribing to my channel and also smash the like button. I would really appreciate that. And yeah, that's all I got for now. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next week.
I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a sticker. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flicker. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up.